Hello, and welcome to Fridays with Agent Kristin. In episode 4, I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about how we define middle grade. There's oftentimes a lot of confusion around what is the appropriate page length for a middle grade novel, and that is because the term middle grade really encompasses a rather large spectrum of age ranges. And I think once I clarify how different editors and agents and publishers kind of perceive what would be considered a middle grade novel, I think it will become a little bit more clear to you on what is the appropriate page length and what the different definitions mean. I certainly can't speak for all agents and editors where this topic is concerned, but for me personally, when I think of a middle grade novel, I think of 3 very distinct levels that can fit within the definition of what a middle grade novel is. And I'm going to begin with what I think is level 1. So for level 1, we would call this an early reader chapter book. And even though this is within the definition of middle grade, this is definitely for the younger readers on this spectrum. So you are going to have different kinds of titles, like, for example, The Magic Tree House, which is not only an exciting story that gets young readers interested in the process of reading, but also does a lot of teaching of fundamentals. A great example of a level 1 middle grade novel is The Magic Tree House. In a level 2 middle grade novel, you're definitely going beyond the early reader chapter books. In a level 2 middle grade novel, you have longer chapters, more complex storylines, different development in terms of the character. It's not as focused on fundamentals, but it's not quite to the level of what we would call an upper level middle grade. A level 2 middle grade novel is going to be for the ages 9 and up, and are definitely going to be a little bit longer in length, which is of course where some of the consternation comes when trying to determine what is the appropriate page length for a middle grade novel. Obviously, if you're going to be on the younger end of the spectrum, they're going to be shorter, like 30,000 words. Once you get to the level 2, then they're starting to be a little bit longer, and you start seeing it to be around 40 or 45,000 words. And then, of course, there is what is called the upper level middle grade novel. Before I tackle the upper middle grade novel, here's a great example of a level 2 one. Here at Nelson Literary Agency, we're actually focused on only acquiring what we would call the upper level middle grade novel. If you think of the term middle grade, it actually is in reference to those middle grade levels right before high school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And so when we are looking for novels, we want stories that are going to be a little bit more complex, very developed characters, and are definitely going to target that age range that's on the upper end of this middle grade spectrum. Really great examples of upper level middle grade novels would of course be J.K. Rowling and her Harry Potter series. Another great example of an upper level middle grade would be Rick Riordan and his Percy Jackson series. And here's a great example of an upper middle grade novel, as well as one from the Nelson Literary Agency, The Shifter by Janice Hardy. As you can see, an upper level middle grade novel is definitely going to have bigger word count and longer page length than a novel that's targeting that much younger reader, but that's still within the spectrum of middle grade. So you can really understand now why there's so much puzzlement about what the appropriate word length is for a middle grade novel. That's why I wanted to kind of highlight what I thought were the 3 different levels within that genre in order to make it a little bit more clear for aspiring writers who want to write that middle grade novel. I hope you found this segment helpful, and good luck with writing your middle grade novel. Thanks so much for spending another Friday with me. Have a terrific rest of your day, and I'll see you here next Friday. Bye.